Okay, the headline of this video is the Kansas City Chiefs are officially in trouble, which is something I can't believe that I am saying with a team that does have Mahomes playing like he does with 4 touchdowns and Kelce playing like he does with a touchdown and Rice playing like he does with 2 touchdowns and Hollywood Brown with a touchdown. And pretty much everybody from their championship seasons. But the Kansas City Chiefs are in trouble with 6 losses now. 6-6. We were going into last week saying that Mahomes has never been 500 this late in the season. We're now going into next week, week 14 of the NFL season, with the Kansas City Chiefs at 6-6, with pretty much everybody still there. Bolton and McDuffie and Jones and Spagnuolo as the DC and Nagy as the OC with Andy Reid. I honestly don't know what it is, but everything that the Kansas City Chiefs have been doing this year looks the same, with the exception of about 10 plays. Now, obviously, that's the difference between winning and losing in the National Football League. But mistakes like pass interference penalties and not scoring before either side of the halftime period, like on Thanksgiving Day when the Chiefs got the ball first and start the second half, don't score, got the ball right after Dak Prescott scores at the end of the first half, with the Dallas Cowboys getting a touchdown from a guy fresh off the practice squad from a couple weeks ago. The Chiefs usually don't give up big, huge 40-yard touchdown dashes like we saw earlier today. And my goodness, are the Chiefs in trouble, because 6-6 in this AFC right now. 6-5 was the 10 seed. I have no idea what 6-6 is going to look like by the end of the week. And they have lost to the Bills, and they have lost to the Jaguars, and they have lost to the Chargers, who going into week 13 Sunday are all your wild card teams. They have lost to the Broncos, who are doing cartwheels right now, getting ready to head to Washington, D.C., where the Commanders have lost a gajillion games in a row, and the Broncos are 9-2 coming off of a bye, and they are going into week 14, 4 games in front of the Kansas City Chiefs in the loss column. So at this point in time, it sure does look like we're going to have a new AFC West champion for the first time in a decade. 9 straight seasons in a row is 100% in the line of fire, in jeopardy, if not completely already done right now. 5 games to go. And the Texans are in Indianapolis this week, and they're the ones who have to go to Arrowhead next week. Now, the good news for the Chiefs is there are some winnable games. They play Vegas. They play Tennessee. They play at home for 3 of their final 5. They're better at home than they are on the road, although, again, they played good football for the most part, winning football for the most part in Dallas, but they made too many mistakes. And they're the ones who came up with the first turnover of the game, and still that wasn't enough for the Chiefs to take an early lead and get a turnover. The defending AFC champs 3 times over, the Kansas City Chiefs' dominant dynastic window of Super Bowl appearances and chances. They're 6-6 heading into week 14 again. I'll repeat this line that I was saying with the stats for the last few days on the Rich Eisen show. The earliest the Kansas City Chiefs season has ended in the Patrick Mahomes era is overtime in the AFC Championship game, which happened in Mahomes' first foray into the playoffs to Tom Brady, and then he made the Super Bowl and won it. Then he made the Super Bowl and lost it. Then he went to the AFC Championship game and lost that in overtime to Joe Burrow, and has made the Super Bowl every single year since then, either winning or losing. And this year, it is all in jeopardy. They are running out of time and certainly out of room for error. Now, the reason why I start with the Chiefs, normally when the Cowboys win or lose, you start with them. But the Kansas City Chiefs are a dynasty. that is either in the final throws or is in a spot that we are not used to seeing them in, from which they will still continue to somehow advance. All they got to do is get a ticket into the dance, but right now they are going to have to win, if not win out, and get a ton of help. As for the Dallas Cowboys, they've won their last 3 in a row, and they do not look like the team that started 3-5-1 at all. And part of that has to do with, obviously, the ascension of George Pickens, who is turning into one of the most dominant physical receivers this league has seen in quite some time. He is unbelievable. The play that he made where he almost scored by spinning out of a what looked to be just a short gain or a first down gain of about 10 yards, spins out of it, goes to the sideline, takes off. What a move that was athletically. And then to have the speed to take off and have a breakaway speed from everyone else and almost leapfrog over a defender to make it one of the greatest highlights in the history of Thanksgiving football. And I know what I'm saying. If George Pickens had scored instead of being tackled on that leapfrog over the final defender standing between him and the end zone, that would have been one of the most amazing touchdowns in the history of Thanksgiving football. Instead, it was something that set the Dallas Cowboys up for what turned out to be a field goal to take a 2-score lead, from which the Chiefs almost came back to get a chance to tie the game, if not win it at the end, if it wasn't for George Pickens on the final drive twice. Once getting a clear pass interference penalty because he made an incredible move inside on a defender who is terrific defending on the inside shoulder in Watson. And then a first down grab to end the game and bring on the victory formation. CeeDee Lamb doing what he's doing. Javonte Williams doing what he's doing. Everybody who runs the football doing what they are doing. And defensively, DeMarvion Overshown coming back. He is all over the field. And him being on the second level has 100% helped everyone behind him and everyone in front of him. That now includes Quinnen Williams. I'll be honest with you. Sitting here watching this game, and I know I'm making this a little bit about myself here, but listen, I am taking a couple more minutes out of my Thanksgiving to chat with y'all and give you my 2 cents because I can't help myself. It hurts to see Quinnen Williams and another team. The Jets, I don't know what they're doing, man. They better use these draft picks wisely, and we're going to see what they're going to do in order to rebuild their team using Dallas Cowboys draft choices. But Quinnen Williams is remaking this defensive line alongside Kenny Clark. And you got to give it up to the Jones family for making these moves. But Quinnen Williams is reconstituting this defense up front. DeMarvion Overshown is reconstituting this defense behind that. And they're only going to get healthier, one would think, on the back end of the defense. At 6-5-1, what a huge game next week at Detroit is going to be, 1 week from this very moment. Because the Lions are 7-5. The Cowboys are now 6-5-1. They are rooting hard for the Chicago Bears tomorrow. Lions are rooting for the Eagles. Dallas is rooting for the Chicago Bears. Because if the Bears win this game and make the Eagles 8-4 and the Dallas Cowboys are 6-5-1, the division is not yet over. That's still a long shot. But Dallas right now, 6-5-1 behind the Lions at 7-5. We'll see what happens with the 49ers moving forward. Obviously, a result like the Eagles beating the Bears in the long run might be better for Dallas because a wild card appears to be the better shot for them to make the playoffs. And the Chicago Bears being closer to them is not a bad thing. But it's all good in the Dallas hood right now. And obviously they're playing for Marshawn Kneeland as well, which is a palpable feeling you get watching this team. They are playing inspired, and you must give it up to Brian Schottenheimer. At one point, Tony Romo was talking about how deep in his offensive play calling bag this head coach of the Dallas Cowboys is. He is doing a phenomenal job, and the Cowboys are reborn. The old school Bill Parcells axiom that the season begins at Thanksgiving. Dallas.
The scoreboard says 31-28. But for the Kansas City Chiefs, that final number feels heavier than just 3 points. It feels like everything. On Thanksgiving night, in front of millions of fans, the Dallas Cowboys struck first, struck often, and exposed cracks in a defense many thought still had championship DNA. This wasn't just a loss. It was a wake-up call. From the beginning, you could sense the tension. The Chiefs' offense tried to set the tone. Patrick Mahomes moved the chains, Rashee Rice snagged completions, the ground game tried to hold, but each moment forward felt like walking on thin ice. On the other sideline, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys executed. Lamb, Pickens, Malik Davis on the ground, they took advantage of every mismatch, every falter, every failed assignment. And the defense, the heart of the defense, the unit we trusted to stand tall, it cracked. Key third-down conversions, explosive plays, repeated drives. Time of possession tilted dramatically. Dallas racked up 457 total yards to KC's 362. The red zone stands, the halftime talks, and the desperation in each down. Nothing was enough. The margin for error vanished. Tonight, the offense scored 4 touchdowns from Mahomes, but it still wasn't enough, because playoff-caliber teams don't survive on offense alone. Now the numbers tell the harsh truth. The Chiefs sit at 6-6. Playoff hopes, once considered a guarantee, now teeter on a knife's edge. According to recent projections, what was a near lock has dropped below 50%. Every game ahead is suddenly a must-win. No more room for mistakes, no more wiggle room. But here's the thing about Kansas City. We know adversity. We've lived it, we've fought through it. And when the noise gets loud, when doubts rise, that's when the arrowhead shines brightest. Mahomes already said it. We've got to win every game now. And I believe him. This isn't the end of the road. Not yet. Not while there's still game tape to erase, still opposition to beat, still pride to defend. The locker room knows it, the coaching staff knows it, and yes, the kingdom knows it. This loss burns, it stings, but it can fuel something greater. So to every Chiefs fan watching right now, don't back down, don't bow out. Keep the faith alive. Wear the red and gold proud, because this team, this city, this kingdom deserves better than this final. And I still believe we can get it. What do you think, Chiefs Kingdom? Can this loss become the spark that reignites our playoff push? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you believe. Subscribe so you don't miss a second of the fight ahead. The journey isn't over. The battle is just getting real. Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, stay Chiefs Kingdom.